Pravin Maharaj. I think, for those who are listening, he's one of the first persons in KZN who had the first computer college. Welcome back to School Matters. I think whenever you're down from Johannesburg, you're back in the classroom. School Matters.
Thank you so much, Sumaya. It's great to be back. It's getting back to the old roots and chatting this whole new era that we're entering into. So glad to be part of this new journey with you. Amazing.
Well, before we could come into studio, we were talking about our children and we realized all of a sudden you just threw in another 15 years and 10 years. So the 7-year-old is now 18.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the newborn is going to be 9. Well,
look at that.
And, I mentioned you on last week's show. Well, I mention you every now and then. I think you recall we were talking about AI and virtual learning. And I said, I have this guest. He always speaks about something few years in advance or 5 years. And I mentioned you because you did mention about AI and, how technology is going. And a lot of people said, Mr. Maharaj is so far-fetched. And there you have it. 4 years later, 5 years later.
Reality.
So whatever you're saying now, we're going to wait and see, Amina. 3-4 years because you exactly tell us a little bit about now. You were the former owner and founder of Oval Institute. Correct. And involved in lots of other avenues and organizations. The father of many institutions too. So you are involved in trade bricks.
That's right.
Yeah, can you tell us more about that?
So I think we saw AI coming mainstream around 2018. But 2022, 2023, we saw it really taking the world by storm. Yeah. But in 2018, we observed that Elon Musk was doing something with AI in California.
And a South African.
Yeah, and he's South African. So we then bought off what was a 75-year-old company called EasyDex. Yeah. So 1.5 million products, brand services, database with about 350,000 key contacts. It was the center of economic South Africa. So if you wanted a product, you would go into EasyDex. It's like your Yellow Pages, but on steroids. Okay. It'll tell you exactly who does what where. And we knew that data is going to become even far more valuable than gold and fuel put together. Because if fuel-powered motor cars and gold-powered economics, then AI was going to power every human being. Yeah. And at the center of everything is data.
Right.
So without data, AI is equivalent to the brain of a cockroach.
Exactly.
So it's really nothing.
Exactly.
Without that data, and who is that data? That data is you and I. So the last 3 decades, we've been busy with our fingers. And who's best? The youngsters today know how to use the brain through their fingers, right? So the brain coordination, through maneuvering through those fingers, we've literally outsourced our brains to a digital platform. Okay. And that's coming back now, synthesizing and going to create magic. And I think that's what we're going to have that session to understand what this future is. Should we, fear it, or should we embrace it? Yeah. And those who sit by on the side waiting for something, hang on, I'm a bit scared about that, they're going to get left behind. But we'll talk more about that. Thank you. Absolutely. It's at the moment, it's the Wild West.
Yeah.
So let's just dial back for a moment. Imagine that we're not in the year 2025.
Yeah.
Imagine we go back centuries, thousands of years. We're going back to a period when humanity began to think.
Yeah.
And then later on, we had philosophy and psychology and all that being brought in. And so we began to train that brain to perform in a certain way. So for the first time in our history, ever in our history, and I want the youngsters to know this, that we are in a moment in history where for the first time we are seeing our brain, the way we use it, the way we used it for the past few decades, coming back, synthesized and packaged, and we watching it behaving in a certain way. Artificial intelligence is nothing but human intelligence which we've put into a machine, which is now being synthesized. So you're synthesizing, imagine everyone's intelligence. Now, Google is a place where everyone engages, the good guys and the bad guys. So we are taking good data and bad data and trying to create solutions. So what the next phase of AI is more personalized and bespoke, clean data, cleaning up data. So we're now going to get involved with the future of jobs. What are the future of jobs? Cleaning up data in villages, in towns. It's like gathering that information, cleaning it up, and putting it in a repository. Right? Once when we are able to do that, then we are getting clean data to work out of. And when we're working with clean data, then you don't fear that. You now know it's not like Google. You can pick up a murderer there, or you can pick up a monster, or you can pick up the world's best business person. So you don't know who's utilizing this. All of that gets synthesized, and we now got this of this whole wad of information, and we've got to engage that. Now we're saying the next phase. Imagine we're in a period in our history where we will never going to be alone again, because AI is going to morph into AI agents. And one person, one agent, or one person and a swarm of agents. So you could be sitting anywhere, in any village, in any town. Say, let's take two countries in Africa, right, and show you how data works. Ghana is good for cocoa or cocoa, right? That's where the world sources most of the cocoa, and we make chocolates from that. South Africa, KwaZulu-Natal, great for milk, right? We've got amongst the best milk here. So we've got powdered milk. So we've got the core countries with the towns and the villages producing milk and cocoa. You don't need to go to Switzerland to create the best chocolates. So your intelligence and the knowledge of AI coming together, your knowledge could be working 24/7 in Ghana and in KwaZulu-Natal, whilst your intelligence, which unlocks your creativity, creates new ideas, new innovations, new outcomes. For the first time, we don't have to overwork our brains. We'll have these new donkeys doing the jobs for us, right? Through knowledge machines. We call them AI agents. Or AI agentic. A swarm of agents will come upon us. And is it far-fetched? No. By end of 2025, we'll have billions of these agents doing our bidding. Now, the trick is, do we want it to be weak AI or valuable AI? And when we talk about valuable AI, then we're talking about the future of jobs. And if we take away all the technical jargon, etc., we'll realize that AI is not about technology. It's about people engaging in new ways to solve new problems in a far bigger, better way.
Exactly.
So whether you are an admin assistant, or you are a data capturer, or you are a programmer, there's a personality for each AI agent and each human being that will come together and work to solve problems in the future. So straight away, your brain is augmented. So we're moving towards human enhanced AI. But if you apply AI as it is, it could become anything. Right? It's not going to give you the outcomes. It'll do great writing for you. It'll do some great admin. It'll spin out a document, but you don't want that. We're talking about intellectual stuff. We're talking about the innovative stuff. We're talking about the creative stuff. How do you unlock your creativity, your intelligence, which is uniquely human? No other species on this earth, whether it's an AI new species agents come through, they'll only have knowledge, and you can switch that knowledge off. If it becomes harmful, switch it off. If something don't work for you, what do? You walk away from it. That's what AI is. You're not going to engage something that's going to bring you harm. If you find it's not working for you, reinvent AI to do things in a bigger, better way. So we are problem solving, but we will see these agents. We'll be able to train these agents. We'll be able to personalize them in ways that we've never could have ever done before. So imagining personalizing different disparate machines to do a particular task in a better way. Imagine for the first time, we don't have to only see prosperity in these islands that we live in. Amsterdam, Overport, Johannesburg, Sandton. We now can replicate quality across villages, towns, integrate them, and really create a world where prosperity spreads. We're moving in the age of abundance.
You know, you're explaining it on layman's terms, so our listeners out there can understand. Because when you say AI, everyone's thinking, you know, machines. It's like those Netflix movies we're watching where the robots are taking over. You know, that's the mindset that people have. Looking, is AI going to take our jobs away? I think that is the fear.
I don't sense there should be a fear. Purely because there's going to be regulations. Now we need to act as if regulations are already here. Although it's a wild west and everyone is generating and doing amazing things with AI, we are moving into an era soon where AI would be regulated. There will be certain standards set. There will be oversights over every action that has an influence on society, on jobs, etc. So we're going to have a very responsible government with a responsible action plan to ensure that we would have frameworks, ethics built into these ecosystems. So when we're looking at, just take a sector like teaching, will now AI agents, because you can train an AI agent to actually behave in a certain way where it imparts knowledge. But you know the outcome of that type of education and the uptake is around under 10%. Because if you don't bring in that human spark, then the relationship between learner and teacher is lost.
Exactly.
And in the process, learning is lost.
Correct.
So you can never remove the human element from anything.
Correct.
Because it's not about artificial instruments that bring about outcomes. It's about human in that loop that will ensure forever that human would lead AI. The day we find that AI is taking over at a pace where we are being compromised, we must switch off.
Yes.
There must be laws to switch off so that we do not get compromised. So I don't fear AI. What I would like on the other hand is to encourage, whether you grandma listening to this conversation or a young kid, we in a fabulous age of abundance. And that abundance can come not just because we focused in the last century just about academic excellence and the STEM subjects. Now you got to move into STEAM, bring the big AI in there, your arts, your creativity. We're able to do things that we were never able to do in the past because we were caught into 6-7 subjects and that academic rigor. Now you can free up some of those mundane tasks, hand it over to knowledge agents, get them to do that job, and free up our educators to unlock their spark so that they could ignite minds, rank and file everywhere. So point is, don't fear, embrace, cautiously go into AI, not thinking that it's a technology for technologists and techies must run this. AI is about humanity, and every career would be affected by it. And if we embrace it now, we'll be able to enhance our jobs, not lose our jobs.
Exactly. Well, we'll be taking a short ad break and we will continue. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to School Matters. Yes, we are definitely being schooled this evening on AI, artificial intelligence. We have Pravin, Maharaj, and we have Amina Sheikh, the experts who are simplifying it to us, educating us, and also letting us know, it's not just scary. We're not moving away from religion. We're not moving away from culture. We're not following the devil. We are just basically making our lives better, easier, and we want, as Pravin mentioned, abundance,
Absolutely. In fact, on the contrary, we're not losing religion. We'll have more time to engage in our culture, to engage in our religion, to actually, what is religion? Religion is following a set of principles that are created through great verses of the past, and then bringing it into the future and living a life of abundance. What prevents religion from actually growing is the mundane task on a daily basis that we have to grind. Imagine if you're able to outsource that to a set of AI agents that won't bark back at you. It frees up your creative space. It frees up your cultural space. It frees up your social space, your religious space. You'll have so much time to be human.
Exactly.
And engage in humanity. Whereas the day-to-day drudgery of certain things that you don't like. What don't you like? If there's anything that you don't like, automate. What you like, indulge, right? Legally. In any aspect, every sector, every industry. When we do that, we are literally setting on fire the future of jobs, igniting that spark. And when we bring humans and AI together, there's a new set of third power that's born. It's that power that creates the solution. In that solution lies the future of jobs.
Exactly.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
When the synthesis between humans and AI come together, in whichever industry, whichever sector, we're going to find a set of outcomes coming out just through that engagement between AI and humans. So if you at a granular basis break it down to an act or to an art, take a task, make it an art, bring in an agent, help you to do the job, see the outcome, it's better. You'll have educators or inspectors that will measure the performance of humans and the performance of AI. You're going to find that. So there's a new set of jobs emerging. So when we understand what that power is as it manifests, we move whole of humanity into this new power ecosystem where you'll be free to do what you love to do, and what's mundane and drudgery on a daily basis, you'll be able to automate.
AI, what advice you have for parents out there, especially with their children now who are still in school, coming out with jobs? Because a lot of jobs will slowly get, I wouldn't say extinct, but there's new professions, new careers. So what advice you have for the child now who's in primary school or just being born when they are looking into careers, professions in the next 10, 15, 20 years?
So as long as humanity is here and the needs are consumption, if you look at our consumer behavior, as our consuming behavior evolves, accordingly jobs will evolve. So we're not looking at AI going and replacing certain jobs. It's going to enhance jobs. So your admin assistant is going to be augmented. Because you still need the front end office. You can't remove the human factor from there. So every facet of our work life, I think there's some research shows that if 70 million jobs are lost, 170 million new jobs will be created. So which means we'll all have to just get that mind out of the 20th century way of thinking, look at a kind of synthelateral way of thinking. Think of synthesis and think of lateral thinking. Bring those two together, maybe a new word we've just coined, synthelateral thinking, right? So when we move from lateral to synthelateral thinking, then we are factoring in AI to assist in what we are doing. So if parents out there, maths would still be a prerequisite, absolutely. Logical thinking is critical. But arts will always be, it's okay. It's great to be an artist. It's great to be.
Yeah.
Right now, arts have been catapulted to the front. Creative thinking, innovation, ideations, emotions, emotional intelligence, understanding human behavior and how we think.
Yeah.
Diving deeper into being human. There's never been a probe in being human like today.
Exactly.
Because the calling right now is to evaluate every facet of human life and understand how we think, how we behave, how many variants can we create out of 1 billion people. You understand? So there's a synthesis of 1 billion ideations coming together. Can you imagine the new breakthroughs tomorrow? They say by 2035, we're going to go to immortality. Right? So in other words, you can choose to die. Right? Because
they're trying it now.
Right. So you're going to live for so long. So the generation that the youngsters out there, prepare as if you are preparing for working up to the age 100. And then you want to probably rest till the age 120. That's where we're going. Right? That's the future that's unfolding. Right? So you begin to see research is showing that we can cure a lot of things. So the new breakthroughs will bring about new businesses, new ideas.
As you mentioned off air, we're definitely going to have a series on this on AI.
Absolutely.